Okay, guys, welcome to December, which is insane. I can't even believe, I have no words for the fact that it's December. But I thought a great way to start out the month would be to kind of show you guys how I break down my calendar. And this will obviously be a little bit different than a less crazy month. Hey, Melissa. But we can, if this is helpful, we can do this every month. We can do it every couple months just to see like what a more, I don't know, normal, I guess, month would be. Sorry, my voice helps. Because there's going to be a lot going into December. So I'm just going to kind of like, I have my calendar in front of me. So hopefully either you guys can just listen and then do this on your own, or you have your calendar in front of you too. And I'm going to kind of literally just take you step by step on how I do this so that I know what I'm going to be talking about all month long, how I stay consistent with sharing value to my viewers, and how I know that I'm not just putting something out there because I have to, because it's all planned out. And I'm actually not an organized person at all. I'm constantly flying by the seat of my pants. I am definitely like say I'm going to do something and then figure out how later. So like a shoot and then aim kind of person. And so I don't want you to be sitting here thinking, I'm not organized, I can't do this. Like, I'm not type A at all. I'm literally the least type A person you will ever meet in your life. I do not have my shit together by any means. So this is why I have to do this. And I encourage, whether you are super type A and you're always organized anyways, or you're on the other end of the spectrum or somewhere in the middle, I definitely encourage you guys to do this. So I have always been the type of person that buys a planner every single year and I don't use it. For the first time this year, I bought a planner and I used it, I would say 97% of every single day. So I use it on the weekends, I use it on the weekdays. The planner that I use is called the Day Designer Planner. You do not have to have a planner, okay? Literally all you need is a piece of paper. You can even draw your own calendar if you want to, if you don't have a printer, if you don't want to go buy a calendar. So like, just because I have my planner that I'm obsessed with, you don't ever have to make excuses to not be able to do anything that I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to make this mostly about the month, but I'm going to break down a day-to-day, how I organize my weeks and days as well. But we're going to start with just December. Hey, Nicole, you haven't really missed anything. I'm just kind of explaining what the game plan is here. So where I always start, and this is going to be a little bit heavier for December, obviously, because I'm sure we all have a lot going on. So I look at my entire month at once, okay? And I start filling in commitments that I know I have, okay? And I'm going to go through this kind of fast so you're not sitting here just watching me do this. But to give you some examples, so, okay, I know when my work Christmas party is. I'm going to put work Christmas party. I know when I have people that are going to be staying with me at my house this month. I'm going to write that in. I know that I celebrate Christmas, and so I know that Christmas is December 25th. I don't have to write that in because my calendar told me. But everything like that, all of the commitments that you have this month, write them down on your calendar. Because seeing something and not just like having it in your mind like, oh yeah, the 13th is my work Christmas party. Okay, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Like, no, you know your work Christmas party is that day, and you can figure out how you're going to incorporate this business, whatever that means, into that day, into every single day. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days of the 31 days this month that there will be people staying at my house. Does that mean I'm not going to show up for my business those 10 days? No, you know I'm going to show up every single freaking day, whatever that takes. But the reason that I'm sitting down to do this is so that I know what I'm going to be talking about those days, so that when things are a whirlwind and it's crazy and I know that I literally have 1 hour to work my business in 15-minute increments through that entire day, I already know what I'm going to do. So I can take out the fluff, the wasted time, the procrastination, because I've got it all dialed in. Okay, so after you have set out all of your days, and hopefully maybe you guys can take notes, or you can just record that. I'll post the recording, or I can kind of like do bullets at the end, not at the end, but like after I post the recording, so that you guys don't have to sit there and be like, I forgot what she said to do. I'll do bullets. Because I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch each other do this. We can if you want to. I'd be open for that, but it's up to you. Or we can do it at the end or something if we have extra time. So after you fill in all of your known for sure commitments, your next step is going to be like, you can either do this on like a separate piece of paper, or like I have like a little section in mine that has like a little, I don't know, where I can take notes or whatever, and just do like a brain dump of anything that you think that you want to talk about this month. So this is going to be getting super, super clear on your niche, on your avatar, on the things that if you're on my team, you know that I literally talk about every single time I am on camera. Who are you talking to? Specifically, who are you talking to? I know that in December, I'm talking to the person who loves to make excuses to not work out, who thinks that they're too busy to work out, who is not willing to do a 30-minute cardio workout. They would rather find an excuse. So how can I help? Which for me, this is perfect because barre is going to be really great. And it's going to be perfect for my niche. That just happens to work out. But you have to figure out, who are you talking to? What problem are you trying to solve? And how are you going to solve that problem on their busiest, craziest, most food and event-filled month of the year, okay? So I know I'm going to talk about barre, whatever. I know that I'm going to talk to the person who is probably expecting to gain 5-10 pounds this month alone, because they're going to say, screw it. I don't need to be on a quote unquote diet right now. I'm going to do whatever I want. And they are an all or nothing kind of person. I'm very clear on my avatar. I'm very clear on my niche. So I write those things down. I know the problem I'm trying to solve. So this might take a little bit longer. This might be like, okay, I need to sit for 10 or 15 minutes and just like have a blank piece of paper in front of me and think about that person that I truly want to help this month, okay? So after that, after you have your notes of who that person is, start thinking of topics. And I'm talking like more general topics. So this is going to be like, I personally, and you can do this a little bit differently if you prefer to, but I personally like to theme my weeks. And of course, every single day, I'm going to be showing my workouts. I'm going to be showing probably my pre-workout. I will 90% of the time probably be showing my Shakeology. So that's kind of like the general sense of it. But I like to have, or I guess that's the more specific sense, but I like to have a general theme each week. So maybe the first week is going to be talking more about setting yourself up for success on your workouts. Okay, so I'm going to just do like at the top of my Sunday this is just how I do it. On the top of my Sunday, I'm going to just write workouts. So I know that I want to go heavier talking about workouts that week, partially because we're launching a new program. So like that's kind of how that fits seamlessly for me. And however, if you are going to be promoting barre right now, think about how you want to start incorporating that. If you're not ready to start promoting barre, then figure out what you do want to be talking about, and figure out where you want to be talking about workouts and what week and how. You have to figure pretty much every single one of us is going to be talking in some degree about working out, nutrition, and supplements, right? But how can you get super specific for you and your person, your people? Okay, because your people are different than my people. Maybe your people will hate barre. And if they do, that's okay. That's okay. I don't heavily promote programs that I would not do. Like Transform 20, I hated it. I hated literally every second of it. And so I tried it, and I told my people I tried it, but I also told my people that I didn't like it because I know they won't like it either. Or if I explain it and it sounds good to them, me not liking it is not going to have anything to do with them. And either they decide to join me or they find somebody else who loves cardio. Okay? Because even though we want to be a product of the product, we have to believe in what we're doing. And I think it's an expectation for every single one of us to try all of the programs that we have. But if it's not for you, don't fake it, because your people can feel that. Okay, that was kind of a tangent. Shocker, Christina went on a tangent. So you're gonna come up with a topic, a broad topic for each week. And you're gonna know how that broad topic speaks to your people. So my first week, I'm gonna be talking about working out. So I'm gonna give tips on how to stay consistent during the holidays, on what happens if you do miss a day. Because that's going to happen to people, and people need to understand. My people are all or nothing people. And so I need them to understand what happens if you skip a workout. What happens if you miss a day? Do you have to start over? Do you have to think that you suck? No. So I'm going to incorporate those small things. So after you have a theme for each week, and like for those of you who celebrate Christmas, this is actually maybe going to be a little bit easier because the week of Christmas and like between Christmas and New Year's, you're going to be sharing a lot of your lifestyle, which is great because people want to get to know that. But you're also going to be sharing like, I am indulging. Here's how. Here's how you don't have to be perfect. Here's how you can stay healthy during the holidays. Here's why it's not all about gaining or losing weight. And you're going to talk to your people. Okay, so figure out what your workout niche is, figure out what your nutrition niche is, figure out what your supplement niche is, and plug those in to your weeks and figure out how you want to incorporate them. So once you have your general topic for each week, I personally, and this is a little bit too much for some people, and you know you better than I do. So if you try this and it's not for you, that's okay. You can figure out the best way for you to do this, but I like to start breaking down topics for every single day. And sometimes it's like I run out of ideas and I'm like, I can't think of one for that right now. I don't want to force it. I'll come back later. And so today the first happens to fall on a great day. So I will probably sit down and plan out my entire month. Sometimes I don't do that. I stop at the point that we've gotten to so far. So I do my general topics, and then every Sunday, I sit down and I figure out what I'm going to talk about specifically the next week. You can do that. If this is all too overwhelming for you, you can do it weekly, you can do it daily. And something that I really, really want to make sure we talk about is the fact that if things don't go as planned, that's okay. If something comes up that was unexpected and you don't talk about the topic that you planned that day or that week, that's okay. You can talk about it a different time. You can talk about it a different week. This is just to give you a guideline so that you don't wake up every day or every Sunday or Monday or whatever and you're so overwhelmed and you're like, I feel like I've been talking about the same thing. I've been showing my workouts and showing my Shakeology and showing something about my dog and my kids every single day. People literally don't care anymore. Well, two things. First of all, you'd be shocked. People do care. But you don't want to be the same thing every single day. You want to provide value. And as much as our workouts and our nutrition plans and our supplements can provide value, We have to think beyond that. And like, so those of you who have done like the Ultimate Portion Fix certification, or who have really dove into some of our meal plans or the resources that we have on the Beachbody blog, you can share that stuff with your people. There is no one stopping you from giving people free value that you've paid for. Or like the Beachbody blog is free to everybody, but it's better for you to like utilize that knowledge, spin it, put it into your words and relate it to you and your story, and then share it with other people so that they relate to you and you're not just sending people a link to a blog that you didn't even write. And like sometimes that's okay to do, but I'm saying be resourceful and find value. Find content that you can recreate, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And something that I heard that's always stuck with me, and if you're on my team, you've probably heard me say this, but if you can Google it and find an answer, you should be giving it away to your people for free. So think about it in the way of like, you want to be their number one resource for the problem that they are trying to solve for themselves. And giving people too much value is not a thing. And you don't have to worry like, oh my gosh, I'm giving my people all this stuff and I'm giving them these resources and I'm giving them free meal plans. They're never going to actually buy anything from me because I'm giving it all to them for free. No, that's not true, because in their minds, they're thinking, wow, if she's giving me all this for free, I can't even imagine what I get when I buy her program, when I join her boot camp, when I join her team. She's giving me this all for free. What the heck can there still be? And it makes them want more because they know that you're valuable. But you have to tell people that you have something for them to buy. Otherwise, they're just going to think that you're a nice person on the internet that just gives them free value all the time. Okay, so I'm going to go, actually, okay, wait, I see the chat happening. So if there are questions, yeah, so I'm going to break things down about BAR a little bit more today. So I'll share those resources. I can share them with all the teams that are on here because I think there's a sprinkle of mine, Allie's, and Deanna's girls on here. So I'm going to really go into that. Also, the National Wake Up Call tomorrow is going to be with Elise. That's her name, right? The BAR girl. I forget her last name. And so they'll go into a little bit more of that. The challenge packs are $160. And then as long as you are an active coach, you will be getting 3 promo codes. I think it's three $10 off promo codes that you can give to people. But if you're not active by, I think, today or tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, but it might be today, you don't get the promo codes. So hopefully that helps. But there's so much information. Like Tula was asking me about this too. There's so much going on with BAR. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm planning on sitting down and figuring all that out today. Okay, so you guys can unmute yourself if you want. Do you guys have any questions on this piece of it? So like the monthly, before I break down a little bit more into like how I organize my day. And I won't go in super detail, but I don't want to like give you guys too much and you're like, wow, this is the most boring call ever. But I want to make sure you feel like this is helpful and it wasn't a giant waste of your time. So do you guys have any questions or do you want me to go into?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on like strategizing like call to actions for challengers or coaches? Like what is good timing, I guess, like in the month? Like earlier, like obviously not the week of Christmas, but I'm not sure how to plan my weekend or month in that aspect.
Okay, I love that question. So for me personally, I'm going like all in on challengers this month because that's kind of what I did last year and it was really successful for me because I was really able to hook the people who wanted to be, maybe they didn't necessarily want to start right now, but they wanted to be ready on January 1st. So that's kind of how I'm going to be promoting my challenge group. And a different month, I might have a little bit different of an answer, but I would say even though I'll be talking about coaching a little bit here and there throughout the month, all of my call to actions this month are going to be for challenge groups. And to more specifically answer your question, I would definitely say I would recommend doing one this week and next week. And then I would do another one, maybe like, okay, this is what I would do. And this is probably what I'll end up doing. I like to do my call to actions on Sundays or Mondays. And so on the 8th or the 9th, I'll probably do like a hard call to action where it's like very clear that I'm promoting something. And then that entire week, I will be like putting polls on, let's say like I'm posting my workout moves. I'll put a poll like, oh, do you like bar or whatever? I don't know, probably a better question than that. But little things like that that are getting people interacting and getting people like in the back of their minds thinking about the fact that I have something to offer them. And I'll be doing soft call to actions probably that entire week, moving into the next week. And then I bet that next week, I think probably on like the 22nd, I might do another one, which seems really late, but I feel like it's far enough from Christmas still that you still have a couple days that people are like, ooh, I need a last minute Christmas gift, or like, oh, I want to spoil myself. I don't know. It's hard this month. It really is. And that's probably not the best answer in the world, but I would say go heavy. If you do Sundays or Mondays, I would go heavy on the 8th and the 9th. And then I would go light that entire like week and a half. And then if you feel like people are into it and like responding to your polls and stuff, because I love to do polls that don't necessarily have like a legit call to action to join me. And you can kind of get a feel for if people are answering like, oh, are you going to be working out today? Or like, oh, what challenges you during the holiday season? And then you can probably do another one on the 22nd. Unless any of you guys are planning on doing because I feel like that's the way to go I'm looking at my calendar, but I feel like the 22nd, 23rd is the way to go. Just because you can go heavy on, hey, this is your last chance to get ready so that on the 1st you are ready. Because like you can talk about how the packages to get started have like physical things that go with them and that people are going to get to try like the smoothies that you're drinking every single day. And so now's the time to order so that the 1st you are ready to roll and you don't have to wait until that next week when your energy died down. Or if you're planning on doing like a 3-day refresh or something, I would talk about that day so that the next week they have their package and they can get set up and everything like that. Because who knows how long it's going to take for people to get their stuff over that holiday week. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions about like the month, this month specifically, or like those of you that hopped on late? I was kind of saying at the beginning, if this is helpful, I can do this again on a month that isn't so weird. So we talk about like a normal month and how to strategize a normal month. And I'm happy to do these like more often. And like next time, if we want, we can actually sit down and just like do it together and hang out kind of like a power hour and like talk about it and ask questions and bounce ideas off of each other. I'm always down for that. But I can jump into how I plan my days if that's helpful for you guys, if you don't have any other questions. Yeah? Okay. So like I said, I personally like to use a planner. It's the Day Designer Planner. You don't have to have a planner. You literally need a piece of paper. Regardless, I recommend if you guys are not planning out your day, it's completely changed the game for me. Like, turned it upside down. So this planner in particular breaks the day down in 30-minute increments from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can modify, if you don't have a planner, you can modify that to be whatever you want, which is kind of nice. So you can break it down into hour increments. You can break it down into 15-minute increments. But where I start every single morning, one of the very first things I do is I look at my calendar for work So I still have a full-time job, which most of you have either a full-time job or full-time children. So if you have like commitments that you know for sure, you have to take your kid to dance practice at this time, or I plug in every single one of my work meetings that I have. Okay. And then on the side, I start jotting down everything that I want to accomplish that day. And maybe I'm going to accomplish it, maybe I'm not. But what that does is I can just scribble it all down, and then I can start plugging it into my day. So then I can really see realistically how I'm going to get through everything. There will be days where things take longer than expected. There will be days that your dog gets sick and you have to take them to the vet right now, and that eats up 3 hours of your day that was unexpected. Things happen, and you have to be willing to like, okay, today was not one of those organized days and it just happens. But for the most part, most of the time, you can do this and it really, really helps. So after you jot down everything you want to accomplish that day, start plugging it in. So for me, I do that for my full-time job and I do that for Beachbody. And I literally, you guys might think this is weird. I heard somebody say it, I tried it, thought it was weird, but I actually like it. I schedule in time to like, okay, I'm going to get home from work and like talk to my boyfriend for 30 minutes because I know that that's something that I do. I get home from work and we catch up for 30 minutes. So I schedule that into my day because I know that I'm not going to just be like, hey, what's up? See you in 3 hours. It's like, hey, what's up? How was your day? While I'm getting water, while I'm whatever, putting in food before I eat, like whatever. Okay. I literally put everything down, and it really helps me see, okay, I either have to, if I want to finish this to-do list, I'm going to have to stay up later, or I know that those things aren't key right now. They can move to tomorrow because I'm happy with how my list turned out for today. Okay. And I really like the 30-minute increments. If you've never done this before and you want to try, I recommend starting there. It also really helps. Sometimes I'll start the night before and I'll like fill in the first couple hours of my day, like of my morning, so that it's like in the back of my mind that I said I was going to start my day at 5:30. So I have to, or else I'm not going to be able to finish everything else on my list. And for those of you who aren't morning people, I recommend trying that. I actually just ran a free like morning group. I know a couple of you guys were in it. If you need help taking back your mornings and like just figuring out how to have a successful morning, start slow and take baby steps. But it's possible. And I know that because I used to be the person who would get up. I had to be at work at 8. I would get up at like 7:20 and get ready in like 15 minutes and leave. And I literally would make a shake the night before and it would be ready. And I would have my lunch packed in I would literally just run out the door. Now I get up 2 to 2.5 hours before I have to be at work, which is crazy for me. And that is not something I ever would have expected. So if you're sitting there like, that's not me, I can't do that. You can, you just have to take baby steps. And I'm happy to like get any of you guys into that free group if you want just some tips. It was only like 5 days of stuff, but I just gave a bunch of tips on how to do it and how to take baby steps. Anyways, I digress. So once you really see, I put like, okay, so I know that today is going to be a really, really busy day at work, which means I have to figure out where I'm going to plug in my invites. How many invites do I want to do that day? How much time do I want to spend on it? Okay. Is that day more important for me to do only 30 minutes of invites because I have some really good content that I want to create? So I'm going to spend an hour and a half on content creation, and I'm going to put 30 minutes down for invites. And you would be surprised, because I was just telling my boyfriend this the other day, and he's like, yeah, but everything takes so much longer than you expect, or like things come up. And I'm like, when you have it written down and you're like, I have to finish this in 30 minutes, of course there's going to be times that you don't finish it and either you take longer or you stop early and you pick up the next day or you pick up a different time. But you'd be shocked how much faster you finish things, and you will start to realize, wow, I actually get distracted a lot more than I realized. And I try to do 16 things at once and I don't actually accomplish anything. Where this, when you're like, okay, so now it's 12:30, I'm supposed to be doing like 30 minutes of like cleanup around the house. Like that's the kind of stuff that I put in here. And I can tell you guys, I have on my calendar for today, even on the weekends, my parents were here this morning. I scheduled in how long I thought that I was going to hang out with them before they left. Like sounds weird, but guys, it works. I knew when this call was going to be. I know that after this, I'm going to spend 45 minutes cleaning my house. And then I'm going to get ready to make a video for my IGTV. And I have all of it written down so that I'm not wasting time. Like, okay, what should I do next? Like, oh, this seems really overwhelming. I have so many things I need to do. You don't have to think like that because it's already written down for you. You know exactly what you have to do because it's literally next on your list. Okay? Okay. I feel like that was a lot of talking at you guys, but I'm really passionate about it because it's completely changed my business and it's actually kind of changed my life. Like getting organized and being able to roll with the punches when things don't go exactly as planned, but embracing the times that do go as planned and embracing the fact that I have a list and I know exactly what I'm going to be talking about that day. And that's the other thing, like if I have planned out my week, I already know in the morning when I'm creating my routine for that day, I know what I'm going to be talking about. So I know tomorrow I'm going to be talking a lot about working out. I'm going to talk about this new program, blah, 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 blah. That's going to go in there. I'm going to jot down some notes on maybe some stories that I want to do. I like to do that a lot actually. So when I'm scribbling down like my to-do list before I plug it into the day, I'll also scribble down like some ideas of things that I can share. So tomorrow I'll probably do like a little behind the scenes of, hey, I haven't actually tried the sample workout yet. So I'm going to go heavy on that. Like, hey, I have this sample workout. I'm going to grab this chair from my office and I have a couple, whatever, weights. Watch me go. Like, do you guys want to see? Do you want to try this? Hey, by the way, this is a free workout. If you want to try it, shoot me a message, no strings attached. And so I know that those are some of the things that I'm going to talk about tomorrow. And you can kind of start to jot down notes of like, what do I want to talk about in my stories? What do I want my post to be about? And I used to be very much like, I wouldn't write posts ahead of time because it seemed less genuine to me. And I'm like, I love being in the moment and just talking about what I feel that day. Well, then I realized that half the time I was so stressed out because I like to post somewhere around 5 p.m. my time. And if I post later than that, it gets really late for the people on the East Coast. So that's kind of like my sweet spot. Well, that's literally the time that I leave at work. So if I don't plan ahead and write my post in the morning or like take a lunch break and do it then, I'm like scrambling to write a post that doesn't even sound good, that isn't actually genuine. And so I schedule in on my weekends or days that I think are lighter or in the evenings during my power hour, time to create content. Because you guys, we are at the point where we have, like, I'm like, if you take nothing away from anything that I've said today, this is the most important thing I could possibly tell you right now at this moment in your business. You have to create really great content for 2 reasons. One, there are a lot of health and fitness coaches out there right now. Some of them are with Beachbody, some of them are with Herbalife, some of them are private or like individual coaches. And there are some that are creating really great content, and then there are some that are not. And if we want to be successful on Instagram and build a business through social media, which is so freaking cool that we can do that, we have to give it our best. We're going to have days that aren't as good as others. We're going to have posts and value and content that isn't as good as some other days. And that's okay. We just have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to not rush our posts, not be unthoughtful about our stories. Like, I'm just telling you guys, if you want to run a business on Instagram, you have to show up on Instagram like normal people are not. Okay, that's key. And it doesn't mean all of your stories have to be beautiful. It doesn't mean you have to have perfect pictures. It literally just means that you have to learn how to tell your story so you can relate to other people. And it means that you have to share value, free content that people don't understand is actually free. They think it's like this amazing content that they are too lazy to Google. Like, they don't think about it that way, but like, people are too lazy to research it. But if they're just seeing it on Instagram, they think that's pretty cool. So that's what we have to do. And so that's why I started focusing more on my content creation. I started doing more IGTVs. I'm doing like weekly, I started a series where I'm doing like weekly recipes / meal prep / just nutrition stuff. I realized that one of my passions that I had kind of let go of is literally decorating. So I'm showing people that. I'm showing people into my life, and I'm doing weekly IGTVs that have to do with decorating. Right now it has a holiday theme. So think about the things that you can provide value, whether it's with like health and fitness or not. I think it definitely needs to be heavily into health and fitness, but if there's other things that you know a lot about, share that with people, because that's what they're looking for. But my point, all that to say, take the time to create really great content for people, because they deserve it, and that's how you're going to move your business forward. So don't forget to schedule that into either your day or your week. And I will probably create a bunch of content today. Today for me, it'll be more video based, but sometimes I just sit down and I make a couple posts and I just get them ready, so that all I have to do is choose a picture or take a picture and I'm ready and it's posted. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. I don't even know.
This is very minimal. I just have like, when you say like create your post, do you like save it in your notes tab or like on your computer or like write it down? It's very minimal. I'm just like thinking where I'm going to save this.
No, I love that question. So actually what I do, and this is something that I just started doing recently, I use something, because my Mac died, so I literally use my work computer for everything right now. So I have to use something other than notes if I want to type, and I like to type because it's faster, it's easier, and I don't know, when you're typing long things, it's just a pain to be on your phone all the time. We're on our phones now. So anyways, so I started using, it's called Google Keep, and it's like part of the Google Doc, Google Sheets, that whole series, but it's called Google Keep. So you can have it on your computer and you can have it on your phone. So that way, when I'm creating this content, I can type it on my computer, and then I have the app on my phone, and then I just copy it from there. So hopefully that helps. And hopefully that answers your question. But that's how I do it. Do you guys have any other questions? Also, is this helpful? You guys can say if it wasn't, because if you don't say that, I'll probably do another one, and then you guys will be like,
I thought it was really helpful.
good, okay.
And I just wanted to share that I'm literally on the road today sharing my road experience. I know you've watched some of it, and I feel like my viewership has been up because it's one of those things, like, it's the time of year where we're all traveling. And I shared, like, we went to McDonald's and there was a play area. I was doing like stretches and things like that. Like, that got a lot of like eyes on it. So I was, don't think you can't share good content if you're not at home.
I love that. And yeah, you're doing a really good job. I love what you're doing on your story right now. I think it's really, really smart. She's literally in the car, you guys, and she has 100 times more stories than I have on my, and it's all value. She's just showing like a bunch of things you can do when you're traveling with children, without children, and you're trying to be healthy, but you also really like Thanksgiving food. Okay, well, if you guys want, I can do another one in January, and we can have more of like an actual like content create party, so that now we all know what we're expecting. We'll bring our calendars, and we can just bounce ideas off of each other. Like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And it's more of like almost like a power hour. I love this stuff, so I'd be down for it. Some of you guys are nodding, so I'm happy to run it if you guys want. And if you guys have any questions later, feel free to reach out to me. Even if you're not on my team, shoot me a message. and I'm happy to help. But okay, you guys, thank you so much for being here with me on a Sunday after a holiday. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, you guys. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Go create great content.
Bye.
Bye, guys.